Buongiorno. I am a little sad today because tonight, we are leaving for Rome. And, but today I thought I would do something a little different. And I just kind of want to do a little bit of a review of everything we did and everywhere we went, and a few tips and tricks about traveling here in Sicily and the chaos that it can be. And that's going to be my episode for today, so that I can have it just nice and quick and spend these last few hours with my parents and just enjoying being here in the moment. So I hope you don't mind. Yesterday was our last adventure, but today we're just going to kind of do a little conclusion and everything that we've loved. So let me get us set up and let's chat. Buongiorno. I got my matcha, thought we'd start from the beginning. It's been a chaotic, crazy adventure, but I had no idea that just the travel part would be as stressful, unnecessarily as stressful and awful and frustrating as it was. So our trip started with our first initial flight from Newark into Rome, canceled. Literally hours before we were going to leave. They said there was something wrong with the plane, some mechanical error, and the flight was canceled. So when we were trying to book for our next flight, there was pretty much almost nothing for that same day because our flight to leave was already at 8 p.m. and they notified us around, 2 or 3. And then by the time we're trying to figure everything out, it's like 4, it's 5. I'm like, even if we get a flight that's at 5 o'clock, we're not going to get to the airport in time because it's earlier. It's just a mess. And then the ones that were the same day, they would fly us to make this make sense from Newark to San Francisco or to Washington, not DC, the state, and then all the way back. Like, it was just so convoluted and ridiculous that it just made more sense to just book it the next day. So I was able to get a flight, the same flight, except instead of the 8 p.m., we took the 5 p.m., which was not, I wish we had done or tried to get onto the 8 p.m. because we got to Rome at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:30 a.m. And our flight, and this is the reason why I wanted to leave the night before, because Aero Italia has very limited flights. I'm talking one flight a day kind of thing. And sometimes it's in the afternoon and sometimes it's at night, depending on the day you're taking it. So if we had flown on the 11th like we planned, we would arrive the 12th that morning, and then we would have been on a 1 p.m. flight to Sicily. Because we arrived on the 13th instead, the only flight they had didn't leave until 9:30. So I reached out to all the Aero Italia employees, and they said I would have to book and buy brand new tickets if I wanted to leave sooner. Even if I wanted to go to Catania instead of Comiso. It was just a mess. It was so frustrating. And then that plane, the one, that 940 plane or whatever, that one was 2 hours late. We didn't leave until after 10:40, 11:30. We land in Comiso around 12:30. And basically, I lost another day. So because of this one cancellation from United, everything else was just a mess. It was horrible. We were obviously exhausted. I didn't get any sleep on the red eye from Newark to Rome. And then who can sleep in an airport? And they make the seats so it's impossible. Honestly, what we should have done was get a room and then just rest and then maybe go see Rome a little bit and then come back and get on the plane, because it was a fiasco, but lessons were learned. Because they have hotels that are right in the airport, and I'll tell you why I know that now. Because Aero Italia, originally I had booked our flight for not tomorrow, but Wednesday morning at 7:10, which means we would have arrived in Rome at 8:20 or so. I got an email, not a text message, nothing from the app. I got an email after we had already arrived in Rome and everything was going on and it was a fiasco, and I had actually missed the email. But Mom had made me check last week she's like, well, just check, see what time it is. They had changed the time from 7:10 in the morning to 6:45 at night. That is a significant difference, and that would mean that I would miss my 12:55 p.m. flight from Rome back home. So obviously we had to rebook, and now we are leaving tomorrow night instead of Wednesday morning, which means I have even less time with my family. It is just, listen, I love Sicily, I love Italy, I love being here, but travel, getting here is so just unnecessarily difficult, because Catania, the problem with Catania's airport is that Etna is an very active volcano. And if it is active, which it has been recently, to the point where ash and everything is covered, nobody can fly in or out of Catania. And so your flights are delayed or canceled. So it's dangerous, in a sense, and not wise anymore to fly into Catania. Whereas Comiso, unfortunately, has like 2 baggage claim area. I mean, like, it is a tiny, tiny airport, but it's 10 minutes from here. And it's wonderful if you can get a flight there, and Aero Italia will take you to Rome, because Rome is like the main hub, but it's getting impossible anymore. And I think this is why my parents will land in Rome and then drive 10 hours down here, because catching another flight, depending on any of these flights, there used to be a Ryanair, but I guess they got pushed out. And so now it's only currently Wizz Air and Aero Italia flying in and out of Comiso. And those airlines are not as cheap as Ryanair. So it's just, you can't really win. You know what I'm saying? It's just very frustrating. And then to drive to Catania to be picked up or, fly from here, it's like 90 minutes. It's an hour and a half to 2 hours, because it's one highway with 2 lanes. Like, Sicily, I'm not going to lie to you, is a challenge in terms of traveling. And that's what I'm going to say about that. And so that's kind of like the little cusp of how we got here. So our first day here, we kind of just had to relax and breathe a little bit, because one, we're fighting 6-hour difference, jet lag, all of that. And then on top of that, we also didn't sleep for almost 24, probably longer. I would say 2.5 days we got no sleep, like no significant sleep. And so we were recovering from that as well. But so the first day here was pretty much us resting and eating and just kind of just being here, and then going to the beach, sunset, which was beautiful. But, just is a lot of time lost because of what had happened. Literally the next day was our 9-year anniversary, our wedding anniversary, Sean and mine, my hubby. And I had already planned an adventure. And so I had booked us a room. I booked us a cave in Ragusa Ibla. And I chose Ragusa Ibla because it is a beautiful Baroque city. It's pretty close to where we are here. It's about 45 minutes away. And we know and love it. And so if we were walking around the city, we wouldn't have any issues. We don't need a car to enjoy the city. Originally, I was thinking the beach and stuff like that, but it didn't work out. The rooms I just wanted a very romantic or super unique, cool place to stay. And the places by the beach, while certainly nice and modern, kind of, 90s sort of thing, they just didn't give me the Italian aesthetic I was looking for. And being able to be in the cave was not only unique and different and really special in a way, but also kind of gave a call back to my ancestry, where my mother's great uncle had actually lived in one of these caves, not as luxurious as we were staying, but had lived in these caves. And a lot of Sicilians lived this way for a very long time. And even like there was a whole cave life for thousands and thousands of years. I'm talking like 20,000 years ago, they had discovered like cave communities and societies, which is when we went to Cava di Ispica, which I really wanted to share with you because I thought it was a really special place as well. But anyway, we went to Ragusa Ibla, stayed in a cave, a luxurious cave, and we explored the city and ran around and enjoyed gelato and cornetta, which is a croissant here in Italy, and just everything was really special and wonderful. And yeah, it was nice just to be with hubby and spend that time together. Then after that, we came home and we got a whole bunch of yummy goodies, and we went to the market. And again, you know, when you're in Italy, it's all about the food. The food here is just unparalleled. Even in Rome, it doesn't compare. Like, it just is not good. And I was also disappointed with the food in Venice last time I was there, which was in 2017. I do need to go back though. But anyway, that's for another adventure. Right now, this adventure here with me this year is traveling all over Sicily. And unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of time like we usually do. When I come to Sicily, I generally spend about a month to a month and a half here. Like, I really do take my time. And also the reason for that, one, I could do it because I was a teacher and I had the summers off. But the other reason is it's the only time I get to spend with my parents because they are in Texas. And so I try to spend as much time here as possible because this is where they are during this time. And while I have the time, I'm going to take it. Unfortunately, we have a lot of film work coming into September, like end of August into September. So we had to cut it short, and we couldn't leave sooner because then they were going to another country they wanted to explore, which I thought about going to, but in the end, we just kind of kept it to 2.5 weeks, which I'm not used to. It's very short. I can't believe I'm leaving already. Usually by the end of my trip, I'm ready to go, but I just kind of feel like there's still so much I need to show you, you know? So many places you still need to see here in Sicily, and I feel like I failed you a little bit. But I do have a playlist from last year, which you can see, where I really get into Italy and stuff like that, so in Sicily. So if you're interested in Sicily, I do have a lot of videos from last year on places that I didn't get to take you this year. So there is a castle that I wanted to take Sean to last year, but we never made it to, which is Donna Fagata, Castello de Donna Fagata. And it's the castle of the fugitive woman is basically what it translates to. It's a beautiful castle, villa, owned by an outrageously wealthy person, of course. And I also wanted to take you to Villa Romagna. I think I did that last year, so you can check the playlist and see that. That should be there as well. Oh, and the year before, too. Because I have 22, 23, and now 24. So if you don't see what you wanted to see this year or last year, there's another playlist from the year before of our adventures through Sicily. So I think we covered pretty much everything, but for all my new subscribers, welcome. And yeah, you get to see kind of the highlights of Sicily. So I took everyone to Donna Fagata, which is a beautiful castle, villa, and my favorite room, which is based off of the Palace of Versailles Hall of Mirrors. Just gorgeous. And we never did it during sunset, and seeing it during sunset in the gardens, it was really, really special. The next day, we actually just kind of went shopping, which was super fun. And and I found a lot of amazing things. And I have a lot of tea to spill when it comes to the prices here versus what they charge Americans. That will be an episode for my Lex Talk Fashion coming on Monday. So get ready for that because it's pretty wild when I break it all down. So stay tuned for that, and I will show you everything happening. Also, will show you everything I bought, which I'm pretty excited about, and there are some things in there that you haven't seen yet. It's gonna be pretty amazing. And then it was my birthday after that. Again, we did a little shopping. We got to go to the street where they have like the best deals here in Victoria. And that's actually where I got this dress. I love this dress. My leopard dress, my gray dress, and a black dress I haven't really worn a lot, but it's also very beautiful. It's a cute little cutout just below my chest. It's very comfortable. And there are some things that I'm gonna leave here too because I can get them back in the States, but I can't get them here. And it just makes my life easier when you have a home base, you know, that's less for you to bring with you. So it's nice. But yeah, so for my birthday, we went shopping and it was super, super fun. And I got to go, you know, try on a whole bunch of clothes and get some inspiration and ideas. And, you know, it was my birthday. So mom actually got me the stuff from Tallyway. And there are some things that you guys didn't get to see yet. So stay tuned for that. And then the next day we went to Comiso. I really wanted to take you to Comiso because we are literally like 10, 15 minutes away from Comiso's beautiful Baroque little city. And not a lot of people go there because it's little, but also it's not as famous as the other Baroque cities like Noto, Sicily, or Ragusa Ibla, or Molteca, which I haven't taken you to, but it's in my other playlist from Italy. So if you were interested, it's there. But anyway, Comiso is a really special city as well because it has that Baroque romantic look to it, and the churches are gorgeous and the food there is amazing, and they have the most beautiful plaza. And I fantasized maybe one time we could spend a night there at a B&B because it's literally so cheap. It's like 50 euros a night because nobody knows about it. So I was thinking maybe we should try that next year. I don't know. Because there's some really beautiful spaces and like the romantic look that I was looking for. Not the cave, but you know what I'm saying. After that, we went to the catacombs, Cava de Ispica, and we actually traveled around that area a lot. We saw Cava de Ispica, which is an archaeological site. So we saw a whole bunch of caves. We also saw the park there that they have, which is actually better than going to the Cava de Ispica archaeological site because they blocked off a lot, which is how you saw me find the hidden stairs that nobody seems to know about. But Mom saw them last year and I wanted to share it because it's like they're literally invisible unless you see them at a certain angle. It's wild. But anyway, they do have the catacombs there, and that is actually, I will say, that's really cool. But I'm a macabre kind of person. I kind of like dark and spooky things. So seeing the catacombs is something I enjoy. There's no bodies or anything. It's just like where they were buried. And this was like, these things are thousands and thousands of years old. I'm talking like, not first peoples, but close enough. You know what I'm saying? Like some of them were Christian burials, but like when Christians first started existing sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was pretty interesting and amazing. And then we'd never seen the city of Ispica, so we kind of explored that. And there wasn't really much there. They have a gorgeous plaza, as most Baroque cities do. Gorgeous, gorgeous churches. And I did enjoy that one church that had more of a circular kind of front. I'd never seen anything like that, so I thought that was pretty special. And then from there, we really love Sicily. Sicily is another Baroque city here in Sicilia. And it is really cool because, one, the amazing like places you can climb and get into, like there are churches that are built out of the mountains, like into the mountains, and like there's this old ancient one that you can climb up into that's like, it's all locked up, but it's still so beautiful that you can't, because it's it's falling apart. But from there, you can see the entire city. So if you want to see that, that's from last year. That's in my episode. I have an episode on Sicily specifically where we explore a little bit more than we're able to this year because of time and exhaustion and heat. But we also really love Sicily because there's this one restaurant, Buki Buki, that has the best salads. And I keep telling you this, but in Italy, they're not really big on salads. Like they have vegetables and like a green salad, which is pretty much just lettuce. And sometimes they'll do like lettuce and cucumbers, like woo. But Sicily, Buki Buki, the restaurant, has a whole bunch of different kinds of salads, which is very hard to find here in Sicily. So we like to go there. It's funny to have a favorite place in a random Baroque city in Sicily, but we do. And it's Buki Buki because we love salads and we love unique, fun salads. But yeah, it sounds weird to say that, but hey, you got to eat healthy, There's a lot of bread, a lot of carbs, a lot of pasta, and every once in a while, every day if you can, you got to have your veggies. You have to have your veggies, and it's a good way to kind of reset. So Buki Buki, if you're looking for a good salad, which you will not find. It's very hard to find anywhere else in Sicily. I digress. So we went to Sicily. We kind of just roamed the streets a little bit, but it was very hot at that point. We also went and saw the flour mill before we went to even the city of Ispica, because the flour mill is right next to the Cava de Ispica. Now, this is my second time doing it, and as somebody who's done it once before, it's not very interesting to do it again because you kind of already know. But for someone who's never seen it, it's very interesting, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it because they do have this like electronic thing that tells you about each room that you're walking into, the history, how people lived. If you're into history and stuff like that, it's very, very cool how the flour is made, what they used. And it's interesting too in the sense of Sicily is very arid now. It's very like desert like kind of climate. And back then they had these overflowing rivers and lakes and stuff, and that's where all these caves were. And you look down and you see that those aren't there anymore. Like there's no water here anymore. And that's why there's a lot of well water, and there's a great aquifer. But in terms of surface level water, there's really not a lot. So it's interesting to know that these people had stayed in these places that look barren, right, and deserted, no water. But humans, especially way back when, they would always position themselves where water is, because where water is, life is. So it's just very interesting. The next day, we went to another archaeological site. Again, they're very small here, except for like places like Agrigento, which is outrageously like massive, and they still have all the buildings, the ancient temples, right, still standing, which is really cool because you don't have to go to Greece to see Greek temples, they're right here in Sicily, in Agrigento. And even where we went to the next day, which was about 3 days ago, 2 days ago. Oh my God, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 3 days ago, Temple of Athena in Camarina, Sicily, which is actually a part of Sicily, which is a beautiful, wealthier part of Sicily, very full of people. So it gets a little crazy in Sicily. Not Sicily, Scoliti. Scoliti is a beach town, which is so beautiful. It's good money in there, and that makes the town beautiful because it's very well taken care of. And if you're driving around Sicily, you're going to notice there's a lot of trash everywhere. Sicily isn't very well taken care of. I think things are starting to change, but as of right now, it's really disheartening to see, the trash everywhere, all over the streets, on the side of the road. And a lot of times, unfortunately, you'll see a lot of roadkill of animals that you would consider pets, because there are a lot of strays here as well. People don't take care of not everyone. I mean, there's exceptions to everything, right? I mean, there are some people that eat with their dogs. Like when we were in Ragusa Ibla and we had that beautiful dinner at the bottom of the valley, there was a couple next to us, and she had even brought a little pillow for her dog to sit on and a little bowl, and she had water and food for the dog. And it was a very well-behaved dog, so it was fine, but also super cute. Like, there are people that really do truly love their animals here, but there are also people that see the animals here as either work animals, they work the farm, they protect the property, they eat pests and stuff like that. And then there are also people that don't care about animals at all, and they treat them like horribly, kicking them. I've seen things, and it's pretty disheartening. And it's really upsetting. Even Luna, the way she lives is kind of sad. She lives outside. She doesn't come into the villa. And I have Suki. Suki lives inside. Like, she is an indoor dog. And I can't imagine Suki being like banished to a life outside, like never coming in. She sleeps in our bed sometimes, not with us at the foot of the bed, but I don't know. I wish I could give Luna a better life, but we're not here. My parents are here 3 months out of the year. They live here. This is their life for 3 months of the year. Like, that's a significant amount of time. But I don't spend that much time here. And I know my mom really wants to take care of Luna and wishes she could give her a better life. But again, the person who helps take care of the property, he doesn't come into the villa, so Luna lives outside. So it's interesting how life here is in Sicily. It's very different, let's put it that way. I digress. So we went to Camarina, yep, where the Temple of Athena used to stand, and it's just such a gorgeous view of the ocean and Scoliti, the city below. And it's a really special place. Again, we did that during sunset, and I loved it. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you go into the museum, there's so many artifacts there. Again, if you're a history person, this is like the perfect place for you. If you're a foodie person, the perfect place for you. If you're looking for Instagram places, the Baroque architecture is to die for. It's so gorgeous. There is something here in Sicily for everyone. It's just that traveling is a little rough. And the other side of that, even driving here can be a little scary because the drivers here are very aggressive. And in fact, this year, we learned about 3 fatalities due to cars of people that lived in the city that were in Agata, people that, the waiter of a restaurant that we frequent, that we know this waiter, young kid, 18 years old, both of them. And so many people die because they're so reckless on these roads, but these roads are really hard to kind of want to be slow on because there's only one. And the roads are limited. But you need to be careful, especially in the residential areas, and they're so curvy, and it's a situation. Just be wary, and driving here is a challenge. Like I said, traveling to and in Sicily can get a little hairy. So, we did Camarina. I showed you the popular market that everyone likes to go. Well, actually, Grump Blog did. And they're funny because they all like to flirt with everyone, and they all trying to get your attention and be like, you want a melone, you want a pesca, you want a pesce, peaches, fish, melons, anything you can think of, right? They're all kind of yelling at you to get by from. It's fun. The market is fun. And then, so the next day, we went to a city we've never been to before. We've been to, but we never actually explored the city. So, like I said, Catania has an airport. It also has IKEA. But Catania is its own little Baroque city. And I say little, I shouldn't say little, a massive Baroque city. It's one of the main hubs here in Sicily. but it's also under the shadow of Mount Etna, which is why the airport there can get a little iffy in terms of whether you're going to be able to get to that airport or not. Last year, they diverted our flights from Catania to, was it Trapani? That was a pain in the ass because Trapani is on the complete other side. And it was a mess. It was so frustrating. But whatever. It took us 5 hours from Trapani to get to where we are here. And I had to, it was a thing. Anyway, if you want to see it, you can see it in the playlist from last year. It was a fiasco. Again, it's just, you never know here. But anyway, we went to Catania and everything was covered in, I want to call soot. It's not soot, but it's like this pumice stone. It's the ashes from Etna because she had just erupted. Catania was closed for a few weeks because of it. And everything was just covered in it. The streets were just covered in this soot and it was so dirty but it's just soot, it's not dirty, but it looks like it is, But the city itself, there's so much to do. It is also a coastal city, so it has beautiful beaches, but we've never been to the beach, but everyone seems to really love Catania beaches, so we should probably check it out one day. I don't know. It's about an hour and a half from here, so maybe we'll venture up there again someday. I know my parents are probably going to go again because they have friends coming, and so they want to see what Sicily's about. And Catania is definitely a city you don't want to miss. It has beautiful cathedrals and churches and basilicas and duomos and very romantic. And the seafood is phenomenal. It's more expensive for Italy standards because it's, again, a tourist city. But it is very beautiful and the food is super fresh and delicious. Everything in terms of food in Sicily is just the best. You could go to what you might think of as a place that looks terrible and you will not be disappointed. It is just phenomenal food everywhere in Sicily, everywhere. So yesterday, one of our second to last full days here in Sicily, we went to Taormina, which is hands down one of my all-time favorite coastal cities here in Sicily. It is beautiful. The White Lotus, which is a TV series, I can't remember what it's streaming on right now off the top of my head, but The White Lotus made Taormina very famous because the Four Seasons is there. Which is where they've been filming. So in Hawaii, they filmed in, I want to say it was Maui, but it was the Four Seasons in Maui. And then this one is the Four Seasons here in Taormina. And Taormina is just gorgeous, just beautiful. And I've been going there since before I met hubby, since I've been coming to Italy with my family. So over 18 years and I'm not going to say how many because honestly I don't remember, but over 18 years I've been coming to Sicily. And I will say this, Taormina has changed a lot, and some of it good and great and beautiful, and some of it really disheartening and sad. And that part is mostly the tourism. And not to say that tourism is bad because here we are, right? But also the lack of respect, and not just the lack of respect people have for the ruins, the ancient ruins there, or for any of the history or anything like that, which, that happens too. But also the lack of respect for other people. We are trying to get through, and the streets can be so packed sometimes where it's hard to move, and some people just stand there in the middle and just expect you to move around them. You say, "Excuse me," and they just glare at you and then last night that lady shoved the door into me, and I almost lost my ice cream. People are just there are some people that give tourists a really bad name, and I don't ever want to be that person, but it can be really frustrating. And I don't know. It's not for me. But, and because there are so many, it can get very overwhelming very quickly. And as somebody who, I'm not a great fan, I don't like crowds. I kind of like to be solitary, and I like to have my space and all that. So it can get, when I'm surrounded by an obscene amount of people, it gets a little stressful, and my anxiety kind of goes up and up. And, you know, if people are walking away from me and they don't say anything, or I don't hear them, getting lost. Not that we don't all have phones and can't reach each other, but, you know, as a woman, it can be scary when you're alone suddenly in a very busy city. And even though it's a very highfalutin city, it's a wealthy town, Taormina, there are still people there that were looking to take advantage of you. Last year, I was there, and I noticed there were 3 or 4 men that were taking pictures of women in the main square, the one with the checkered floor. And I noticed that because at first I saw them pointing their phones at me, and then I saw them taking pictures of other women. And that's scary. And sure, it could be just for them and their whatever perversion is, but it could also be a trafficking situation. And you just have to be careful no matter where you are, no matter who you are, but especially as a woman, you just have to be even more hyper aware of everything going on around you. And I did catch another man taking a photo of me yesterday, but I think he was just a weirdo or something, because I didn't see him taking pictures of anyone else, so I don't know. But you just have to be aware, very aware. And I know, as a woman speaking to other women, we are. That's just how we live our lives. I don't know any woman that isn't hyper aware constantly of everything going on around her, because it's dangerous. It just is. It just is. Men don't have to worry about things like that generally, or think about those types of things, but women have to be hyper vigilant. And it's important if she's with a man or a group of people, that everyone also is the same way. So men, protect your people. And women, keep doing what you're doing, but stay safe, But yeah, anyway, sorry. That's important to say. So yesterday we went to Caltagirone, which is a beautiful ceramic city. I say ceramic city and you're like, the city's not made of ceramics, but it actually is. Not obviously in its entirety. The buildings are brick, but the facades are almost all these beautiful ceramics. And any ceramics that you see probably come from this city, Caltagirone. You'll see a lot of the heads of the Moor and the Queen, and these were the King and Queen of Sicily. So they say there's a whole legend behind them. And it's just really interesting and a beautiful kind of imagery, but the history or the legend is very dark, but also very interesting. All I can say about that is just don't get caught. Don't get caught in the wrath of a woman. Let's just put it that way. Don't betray her. It won't end well. So you'll see a lot of that imagery. The King and Queen of Sicily, their heads, their busts, they're everywhere. And then the pine cone, which is pretty much the symbol here in Sicily, one of the unspoken symbols for welcome and life and fertility, and yeah, just Sicily. It's very beautiful, and just the city steps are something to behold. And they can be a challenge because while they're not tall, they are long. So you step up, but you have to take like maybe 2 or 3 steps to get to the next step. So it can be that stairway up to the next section of the city can be a little challenging, but it is spectacular. It looks so beautiful, and the city is just a really special, beautiful city. something we try to visit every year and pick up 1 or 2 ceramics, just kind of to remember the visit from that year. And I also like to give them as gifts because they are so special. They're all handmade, all hand painted, and they're all each its own unique piece of art. This video is probably a crazy long, so I'm going to end it. I will, when I get home, I'll go into like the tips and tricks of what to do and where to go in terms of traveling here in Sicily, because it can get a little iffy, like I said. The best places to hopefully fly into and out of, as long as they don't mess it up for you. But yeah, it's been an incredible journey and adventure, and I hope you enjoyed the adventure as much as I did. And I just feel like Sicily is one of those really special places. To me, it's a home away from home. And I get to be with my family, my parents, and it's just, Sicily is my ancestry, half of it. It's my people, and it's just a part of my life and who I am. In fact, the room that I'm currently in was my grandparents, my mama and papa on my mother's side, my maternal grandparents. And so in that way, this villa is them still with us. You know, they built this. This was their vision for a beautiful life in Sicily, and that's really special too. My parents talk about potentially selling this place, and the idea of that is so sad, but at the same time, it's very expensive to keep this place running, and I understand that. To keep a place just for sentimental value doesn't make any economical sense, but to me, this place doesn't only represent, you know, a great home base to explore and travel all of Europe, but also it's home. It's where there are so many beautiful memories, and it's kind of just keeping the memory of my grandparents alive too, in a way, because this was their dream, you know. I love it. It's very special, and it means a lot to me. Just like spending time with my parents means a lot to me, because I don't get to do that a lot, so it's important. Family is important. Even the family you choose. If you don't have the family that made you, the family you choose is important too. So, I'm gonna miss them. But anyway, I hope you had an amazing day. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And tonight we're going to Rome, so if I get any footage of actually getting into the city and stuff like that, if I'm not too exhausted, I'll film that, and then that'll be tomorrow's episode, and then the next day is us leaving Rome for home. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Until next time.